In a world overrun by convenience turned catastrophe, there exists a peril that threatens our very existence. It hides in plain sight, wreaking havoc on our planet. Brace yourself as we unveil the shocking truth behind the most dangerous material of our time: plastic. Let's start with non-biodegradability. Plastic is one of the most dangerous materials because it is non-biodegradable, meaning it does not break down naturally into harmless substances over time, resulting in its accumulation in the environment. This accumulation leads to long-term pollution, as every piece of plastic ever produced still exists in some form today, exacerbating the environmental crisis we face. Persistent pollution. Plastics persist in the environment for hundreds of years, releasing toxic chemicals and microplastics that contaminate soil, waterways, and ecosystems, posing a threat to wildlife and human health. This persistent pollution creates a never-ending cycle of plastic pollution, as even the tiniest particles can have far-reaching consequences on the environment and organisms within it, magnifying the overall impact. Oceanic catastrophe. The excessive use of plastic has led to vast oceanic garbage patches, composed of floating plastic debris, endangering marine life through entanglement, ingestion, and disruption of habitats. These garbage patches, such as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, serve as a grim reminder of the consequences of our plastic addiction and the urgent need to take action to protect our oceans and marine ecosystems. The next consequence is wildlife impact. Marine and terrestrial wildlife often mistake plastic debris for food or become entangled in it, resulting in injury, suffocation, starvation, and reproductive issues, contributing to the decline of species. The impact on wildlife goes beyond individual animals, as plastic pollution disrupts entire ecosystems and threatens the delicate balance of biodiversity and ecological relationships. Microplastic menace. Plastics break down into tiny microplastic particles, which infiltrate water sources, soil, and even the air we breathe, with potential health implications as they can accumulate in organisms. Microplastics have been found in the stomachs of marine organisms, reaching even the deepest parts of the ocean, raising concerns about their ability to enter the food chain and impact human health through the consumption of contaminated seafood. Next is land and soil pollution. Improper plastic waste disposal contaminates land and soil, degrading soil fertility, hindering plant growth, and infiltrating the food chain, potentially affecting human health through contaminated crops. Plastic waste that litters our landscapes not only poses an aesthetic issue but also has profound consequences on the health and productivity of the ecosystems that support life on land. Chemical leaching. Certain plastics release harmful chemicals, such as bisphenol A, BPA, and pH phthalates, which can disrupt hormones, cause reproductive issues, and pose health risks to humans and wildlife. The leaching of these chemicals from plastic products, particularly when exposed to heat or friction, raises concerns about the long-term impacts on human health and the environment, necessitating stricter regulations and safer alternatives. Next dangerous consequence is environmental toxins. Plastics absorb and concentrate pollutants, such as pesticides and heavy metals, becoming carriers of environmental toxins that can bioaccumulate and magnify up the food chain. The accumulation of toxins in plastics not only harms wildlife but also presents a potential threat to human health, as these toxins can enter our bodies through the consumption of contaminated food and water. Energy and resource consumption. The production and disposal of plastic require vast amounts of fossil fuels, contributing to carbon emissions and depleting finite resources, exacerbating climate change and environmental degradation. From extraction to manufacturing and transportation, the entire life cycle of plastic contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and resource depletion, highlighting the need for a shift towards more sustainable materials and circular economies. Litter and aesthetic damage. Plastic litter not only mars the natural beauty of landscapes but also imposes economic costs on communities through the need for cleanup efforts and tourism revenue losses. Plastic pollution not only tarnishes our surroundings but also diminishes the quality of life for communities and negatively impacts the tourism industry, affecting both local economies and the environment. Plastic litter not only mars the natural beauty of landscapes but also imposes economic costs on communities through the need for cleanup efforts and tourism revenue losses. Next on the list is water pollution. Plastic waste in rivers and streams flows into oceans, polluting water bodies, altering aquatic ecosystems, and threatening freshwater resources vital for drinking water and agriculture. The contamination of water bodies by plastic waste poses a significant challenge, impacting not only the health of aquatic ecosystems and marine life but also human populations that rely on clean freshwater sources for their survival. Finally, environmental imbalance. Plastic pollution disrupts ecological balance, impacting the delicate interactions between species, reducing biodiversity, and destabilizing ecosystems that provide essential ecosystem services. In conclusion, the dangers of plastic pollution are alarming. Its non-biodegradable nature, persistent pollution, and devastating impact on wildlife and ecosystems pose a grave threat to our planet. Urgent action is needed to reduce plastic waste, promote sustainable alternatives, and protect our environment for future generations. The time to act is now, before irreversible damage is done. Please like the channel if you feel the content is valuable.